Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your Justice analyst Kirill from Belarus living in Germany and continuing with the reactions and analysis videos for Eurovision 2025 entries. It has been a while since this entry was selected for Eurovision 2025 and I was just keeping it for you for the first reaction, so not listening to it. And of course we're talking about Latvia. So Latvia is a kind of country which in the Eurovision history is more famous for almost every year failing to qualify, but last year they kind of broke this curse with Dons, who finally brought the country into the Eurovision finals. From the very first listen back then, I thought the song is very powerful. However, I was really struggling to imagine him qualifying in a televote only semi-final, because in my opinion, this kind of song definitely heavily relies on the juries. But I was very happy to be positively surprised to see him qualifying into the final. And this year, Latvia has organized, as usually, their traditional selection called Supernova. And this year, I have heard Supernova was great. I have already checked some entries which didn't make it into the Eurovision Song Contest, and some of them are really, really strong.
Listen to your heart.
I think all three are great. My personal favorite is Emilia. However, I think the other two would have done better in Eurovision Song Contest, of course, if they would be selected. And also there was one very nice entry eliminated in the semi-final stage because the singer Adelina unfortunately had some technical issues. She couldn't really hear herself properly. That's why it was no wonder the song was eliminated. But I will just attach the MP3 version because I think it's really good. And I have seen that the Latvian final was quite tough, so the juries and the televoters couldn't really agree about who should win. So for example, the winner of the televoters got just 5 points from the jury. This was the song Ligo, and then in the end he finished just 4th, I think. Then the winner of the jury, so who got 12 points from the juries, got just 6 points from the televoters, finishing then in the 3rd place. And then there were 2 songs which got quite decent points from both juries and the televoters, and of course the one which was awarded the highest points by televoters, so in this case just 10 points from televoters and 8 points from the juries, was proclaimed the winner. And it was the folk band called Tautumeitas. Probably I pronounced the name wrong, but that's how I would just pronounce it based on what I see and knowing that it's from Latvia. So the band was formed in 2015, actually I think like around 6 years ago or so. They had a couple of songs which were getting, I wouldn't say completely viral, but still quite known in Europe, so I still remember one. So the song Raganu Nakts was sent to me back then by a couple of friends. I wasn't really a huge fan, but I still appreciated a lot the fact that this kind of folky music gets popularity. So this style reminds me a little bit of that Polish band Tulia. I just really hope that their Eurovision entry is just showing us a great blend of this traditional folk music with maybe like modern electronic instruments or something like that. So a bit like, let's say, Greece did this year with Asteromata. But now without further talking, let's first of all take a look at the lyrics of the song. So their song titled Burman Laimi can be translated as Summon Happiness for Me. And if you take a look at the lyrics, basically, there are just like 2-3 phrases: summon, 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 never can they ruin me. Summon happiness for me, I didn't know my own happiness until I met my misery. Others are making a bridge of steel, I'm making one of oak. The bridge of steel turns to rust, the oaken one evergreen. And this text is just repeating and repeating again and again. So yeah, not really much to discuss, I think. I would imagine that maybe some of these phrases come from like Latvian folklore or something like that, because they don't really make so much sense in English. What I can understand from this text, that these 6 ladies are kind of saying that they would like to be happy and that there is no need to build this kind of steel bridge if you can just build the oak one and it will serve its purpose and it will last for much longer. Just trying to say that sometimes it's better to settle on something a bit more simple, but something what is definitely good and is not gonna be bad, rather than taking risks and then ending up having nothing. A bit different message from those who are trying to say that we should aim for the stars and always try to go for bigger goals. So I think this song is a little bit more modest. But now let's just take a look at the song itself. So first of all, I will take a look at the official music video of the song, and then for my second listen, I will definitely go for the live performance. So let's go. So it's my first listen of the song Burman Laimi, or A Chant for Happiness, actually is the official title from their official music video. And their harmonies are just perfect. Oh, sounds kind of enchanting, magical, I really like it. The music video visuals are actually really stunning. They look like some kind of nymphs or dryads from the forest. And the chorus definitely has this world music feel in it. With such beautiful visuals, I'm really curious to see what they did on stage. Very nice beat. It could actually come a bit earlier, but now it's also fine. Now it sounds almost like an indie track, not really more folky. This head voice in the background was very, very beautiful. Very unusual entry from Latvia. Yeah, this kind of folky feel with this world music touch on it and a bit of indie elements and a bit of electronic music elements. It's basically a mix of so many different styles, but it comes together very organic, I think, in the song. Is it something what would be appreciated so much in Eurovision? I really don't know. Now they also had second place in the Latvian selection while having so many bops there. So maybe it's something what people would still relate to. It's just very new genre, so unexperienced genre in Eurovision. This type of songs we also had a little bit in the 90s. But not really in the recent history in Eurovision. But now let's just take a look at the live performance for my second listen, because I'm just super curious to see how it comes together on stage. So it seems like with every second it starts raining more and more, but it's, yeah, very captivating visual. I really like how it looks. Oh, this performance is just like visual masterpiece. It's almost looking like some Avatar movie or something. Now I have an impression that we're in a kind of magical forest, and this forest dryads, forest nymphs or fairies, I don't know, are just exploring the forest with all these magical vines and so on. Yeah, it looks quite interesting, very creative in any case. All these visuals look so expensive, their voices sound so great, so yeah, it could be definitely a very good contender for Eurovision Final again. This chorus sounds so much like this kind of world music, which we are missing so much in Eurovision. In the past we had it. Now, since very long time, we didn't have it. But for me, it's really hard to guess how the televoters will relate to this. They definitely have a very clear artistic vision. I'm not sure if they themselves are behind this performance, from whom came all these ideas. But yeah, it's really interesting, really creative. And I think they have so perfect concepts for the Eurovision stage as well. This part is amazing. Also, their synchron dancing is great. I think this is something where the whole crowd in Basel should start clapping, and then this will be very impactful. Just the whole production and the sound quality is just on such a good level. I'm really already a bit lost where it's backing vocal, where it's their live vocal, because everything sounds just way too perfect. Yeah, this operatic part definitely adds a little bit more depth to the song, because usually they were singing kind of the same melody just in a different tone, but this one just gives some additional oomph. What a different entry from Latvia this year, wow. So it seems like Latvia has decided to take some risk this year, because with this entry it can go almost any way. It can be close to top 10, it can even stay in the semi-final because it was not understood. It's really hard for me to predict how the general public will react. Just based on the footprint of the Latvian selection, I can see that the public vibes with it. Not that it gets like 10 times the votes of all other participants in that Latvian selection, but still it got much more support than many other good entries and even finished in second place in the televoting. But now let's just take a look at the Latvian history in the Eurovision semi-finals, where we of course take a look at the televoting only. And you can see that Latvia in the last 15 years managed to qualify to the final in accordance with the televote just 3 times. It was 2 times, both written by Aminata Savadogo, once her own entry in 2015 and then the one written by her in 2016, which was performed by Justs. And apart from that, Latvia was really rarely even close to qualifying, of course not considering last year, which puts them in the last 15 years on a dead last place from all 31 countries taking part in the semifinals this year. And if we take a look at only the last 5 years, even with this qualification from Don's last year, Latvia is still second to last on place 30. There is just one country which never managed to qualify in the last 5 years, and it's Montenegro. And now let's take a look where Latvia will perform in the upcoming competition in May in Basel. And as you can see on your screen, it will be second semi-final, so unfortunately the semi-final again with more participants, so luck is not really on the side of Latvia, and unfortunately it's also the first half, so basically the worst allocation draw what could have happened for them they got. It still doesn't mean that they will not qualify. Last year Dons was also somewhere towards the middle of the show and he still managed to qualify with the ballot. This song is definitely much more captivating, much more different, much more memorable, and usually I would say that televoters tend to vote for something with this kind of ethnic element. Usually the juries were not standing so much behind it because the juries look for the radio hits. It definitely doesn't sound like a radio hit, so I think if they qualify to the final, probably the juries will not rank them so high, but the televoters I think might be on the side of Latvia this time. And what about the bookmakers? Are they believing in Latvia as much as I do? So as you can see on your screen, currently the bookmakers rank Latvia 31st, putting Latvia behind Slovenia, Albania, Croatia, Norway and Georgia, but still above countries like Spain, Luxembourg, San Marino, Serbia, Iceland and Montenegro. So not a very high ranking for Latvia, but last year Dons was not really ranked higher. I still remember on the day of the semi-final he was even ranked last by bookmakers in accordance with his chances to qualify to the final. He still made it, so the bookmakers don't really mean anything, it's just kind of indication of how much hype is around the entry. So it seems like this entry is not getting so much hype, but I still think they have a shot because they have so many cool creative ideas for the staging. When it comes to the staging, I think it was absolutely mesmerizing and perfect, really amazing visuals. I think the beginning with the rain was great, then when they go into this magical forest with the vines looked super stunning. Then however in the second verse and second chorus they just kind of repeated, so again water theme, again magical forest, then towards the end it becomes different, a bit of pulsating light, so black and white, then also some red in the bridge towards the last chorus. So I think the end is perfect. It's just this middle part feels a bit repetitive from the visuals, but also from the musical perspective I think there was not so much going on. It was really more or less repeating the same melody from the beginning. So if they elevate this middle part with their staging, so just put in some variety there, so maybe they go first to some magical pond, then they are in a magical cave, and then they are flying in the night sky. So just put different types of visual, so things which will just stuck in the mind of people, that they will be surprised with each and every second of this performance and be super curious how it's continuing. So that's what I have thought about the Latvian entry by Tautumeitas. I think it's very creative, it's great to have songs like this in the Eurovision Song Contest, and I really hope that they will be rewarded by a place in the final. Please let me know down below in the comments what have you thought about this entry, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you still haven't, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye!